it's in your blood. It's in your blood. I mean, it's more than a love. It's a reckoning. You know, it's a calling.
That's Mark DeVecchio, musician and lead singer for one of Youngstown's most popular groups, the House Band.
The House Band has always been a moving ensemble, a merry band of characters. We've always had guys in and out.
They have plenty of fans out there, but none as big as his twin nephews, Marco and Nico, and his son, Gio.
I remember being real little and just me and Nico just literally sitting right by the speakers where all the other kids would go to playground or something. We would sit right up there.
I mean, most of the kids were running around and causing problems and sliding on their knees and making trouble. Marco and Nico sat mesmerized, staring at the band, watching all my moves, all my corny lines. And
I think I remember me and Marco were young, and I mean, the people who know the House Band know that they went and saw, they were at Party on the Plaza. They were the Party on the Plaza band.
Marco and Nico were hooked. They wanted to be rock stars too.
And I remember we were young, and my mom brought us to Party on the Plaza, and my Uncle Mark went into Won't Get Fooled Again by The Who. And the crowd was just mesmerized. They were in the palm of his hand, and I was like, oh my God, I need to do that. I need to watch everything my uncle does and learn from him.
And if you've ever seen us play, we basically have stolen half of almost everything we do from our Uncle Mark.
Yeah.
Lines, dance moves, and all of it.
So they learned to play everything, starting with guitar at age 8.
When you're young, you don't want to sit down and practice. My mom would make sure, she'd say, do you want to be like your Uncle Mark? Do you want to play music? You need to practice, you need to practice. So
they're multi-talented as far as instrumentally. They play keyboard, bass, Gio plays drums, guitar. They all started primarily as guitar player and as a singer. That's how I started.
As they got older, they kept playing. And then the moment of truth finally hit.
Carmen Speziel is the drummer in the House Band. His son, Nick Speziel, is the drummer in RDNA. So we would go to the House Band shows, and this one time it was at St. Pat's Festival in Hubbard, and they had Nick Speziel get up on drums and do You Shook Me All Night Long by AC/DC. The next day, me and Marco, we were hanging out all night, talking, having a blast. I called Nick the next day and I was like, hey, Nick, let's form a band. He said, who is this? So it took a little bit. We won Nick over, and then that's how the band RDNA started.
And look at them now. Their band, RDNA, plays to sellouts and standing room everywhere. They've even added Mark's son, Gio, who's still a teenager, but living his dream just like his cousins.
It was always my dream with my dad, because he'd always tell me about how it was having a band. So it was always my dream to have a band, especially to play with my cousins. You know, I look up to my cousins and my dad, so to be able to share it with them, the best feeling in the world. They were always older. They were the cool. I wanted to be exactly like them.
Yeah.
So I thought if I could play with them and be one of the cool guys like they were, it's the best.
Oh, they're plenty cool. They play multiple instruments. Their sets have multiple genres, and RDNA brings an energy that can't be matched.
With our show, if you come and see an RDNA show, just like when you see the House Band, the energy is the main takeaway. And I mean, we all surround ourselves with the best musicians. House Band, RDNA, we have Nate Yingling on bass, Nick Speziel on drums, Nick Kill on lead guitar, me and my twin brother Marco, Gio gets up, we got us all here. I surround myself, I make sure that I have the best musicians. That way, I don't need to do the music stuff, I could do the show.
And there's something about being on that stage that's addictive. It's a feeling they can't get enough.
If you ask me what the greatest feeling in the world was, I would say being up on stage in front of all the people, and they're singing along and dancing and watching. Best feeling in the world. That energy that you feel when you're up there in front of people. Some people love it, some people don't. I think it's one of the more fun things you could do.
So RDNA keeps rocking the Valley, just like they always envisioned it since they were little, and just the way Mark always hoped it would be.
It was the greatest thing in the world. It's the biggest. If I leave no other legacy, what could be better than the legacy of music? And what they're doing with their band is amazing.